Na okrogli mizi bodo gospa Marija Trunk, ki se nam je pravkar predstavila z izčrpno analizo, gospa Tiva Montalbano, ki prihaja iz The Princess Regeneration Fund iz Londona in smo imeli priložnost bolje spoznati že ob začetku konference, gospa Jerneja Batič, ki prihaja iz oddelka za kulturo Mestne občine Ljubljana. Večino svoje profesionalne poti je posvetila varovanju kulturne dediščine. Najprej na Republiškem zavodu za varstvo kulturne dediščine Slovenije, kjer je vzpostavila področje promocije kulturne dediščine in obsežnejšo založniško dejavnost. Nato je na Ministrstvu za kulturo vodila področje premične kulturne dediščine in področje delovanja slovenskih muzejev, ter sodelovala pri pripravi nove zakonodaje na področju varstva kulturne dediščine v Sloveniji. V Mestni občini Ljubljana se v zadnjih letih posveča posameznim projektom, kot so vzpostavitev kinodvora, revitalizacije nekdanje tovarne Rog in Cukrarne, obnova Plečnikove hiše, obnova in vzpostavitev arheološkega parka Imona ter prenova švicerije. Alma Selimović, prihaja iz zavoda Bunker. Je magistrica znanosti, smeri menedžment neprofitnih organizacij in univerzitetna diplomirana kulturologinja. V zavodu Bunker deluje vse od leta 2003 kot producentka predstav Mednarodnega festivala Mladi levi, kot programerka in izvršna producentka festivala Drugajanje in vodja razvojnih projektov ter mednarodnih programov, v okviru katerih pridobiva tudi finančna sredstva. Razvija in izvaja tudi projekte na področju kulturno-umetnostne vzgoje, zanimajo kulturna politika, povezovanje sodobne umetnosti in formalnega izobraževanja ter umetnost kot generator socialnih sprememb in inovacij. Gospod Massimiliano Lepratti je predsednik neprofitnega raziskovalnega in izobraževalnega centra Economia e Sostenibilità. Je svetovalec italijanskih nevladnih organizacij in član odbora združenja Associazione Cascina Cuccagna. Od leta 1992 se ukvarja z družbenimi in ekološkimi vprašanji, predvsem pa se posveča proučevanju ekološke tranzicije v gospodarstvu, mednarodne neenakosti in razmerij med gospodarstvom in kulturo. Izdal je vrsto esejev in strokovnih knjižnih del. Okroglo mizo bo moderirala Meta ŠTULAR, samostojna vodja kulturnih projektov z 20-letnimi strokovnimi izkušnjami. V zadnjem času se osredotoča na razvoj in projektno vodenje na področju kulturne in urbane obnove. Trenutno za muzej in galerija mesta Ljubljane vodi interdisciplinarni produkcijski prostor ROGLAB, pilotni projekt za bodoči javni zavod v Ljubljani, ki v ospredje postavlja kreativne industrije in inovacije. Izvolite.
Hvala lepa, Tamara. Ravno zato sem hotela prositi. Hvala lepa za ta lep uvod, Tamara. Najprej bi vam povedala, na kakšen način bo okrogla miza potekala, in sicer bomo z sogovornikom in sogovornicami klepetali približno 50 minut, ampak ne bom jaz edina, ki bom zastavljala vprašanja, se bomo na koncu imeli še 15 minut za vprašanja in odgovore in upam, da bo debata dovolj živahna, da vas bo spodbudila, da se boste te seanse potem tudi udeležili. Tiva, mogoče najprej vprašanje zase, ki je mogoče bilo že očitno iz tvojega predavanja, vendar te vprašam še enkrat, ker je tukaj namreč zelo veliko predstavnikov lokalnih skupnosti. Zakaj naj bi neka lokalna skupnost ali pa zasebni subjekt vlagala v revitalizacijo stavb kulturne dediščine na ta način, da jih namenjata skupnostni rami, ne pa na primer nekim komercialnim namenom?
Okay, I got it. Can everybody hear me? So just to recap, the question is that's probably easier. Why would community or private organizations invest in heritage for revitalization? Is that right?
Yes, but for community purposes.
Yeah. It's a very good question. It's also a very difficult question because I think looking at the economic direction, public funding for these kind of projects is diminishing. Particularly in the UK, we don't see that situation improving at all in the future. our economic situation is going to get worse for various reasons. And ideologically, our government is not interested in investing in that kind of work. It thinks that the market can take care of it. It thinks that volunteering can take care of it. So it is a really valid question right now. Why should we put some of these buildings to community use? I think the power station that we saw last night is a really good example where an NGO is actually supporting an entire network of other charities and NGOs that need the support in order to continue to do good work. So it's almost like a house of cards, if you will. Also, I think it's important to bear in mind that sometimes we underestimate the power of community activity and community activism. And it's often the communities themselves who have the best idea for what to do with the building and for how to make that building survive in the future, to make it viable. And I think the concept of building partnerships between community groups and private entities that have the business acumen to actually make those enterprises succeed is exactly the direction of travel, because public funding is diminishing.
Hvala, Tiva. Kaj pa ti misliš, kaj je prvi korak v revitalizacijskem procesu? Na kaj moramo najprej misliti? Ali najprej, ko recimo smo delamo na občini, vidimo, da imamo v lasti neko lepo staro hišo in jo hočemo obnoviti. Kaj je prvi korak? Najprej razmišljamo o denarju, o politikah, o ljudeh, se najprej obrnemo na Zavod kulturne dediščine. Kako sploh pridemo v proces revitalizacije?
Well, I think first of all you need to think about the context. I mean, if it's one building and it's one of 50 buildings that needs work, then you need to look in a much wider scale, and that's where you look at sort of regional policy and ideas for how to potentially address all of those things at once. If it's just one building, I think it's really, really important to understand what the potential end uses are. So I think something like a feasibility study, which informs what the parameters are within which you are working in the building, which parts of the building can be modified, which parts of the building need a lot of repair, what the potential functions of that building might be. But it also involves market testing. So, for example, if you want a building to be a theatre, you better make sure that there aren't 4 other theatres within a mile, because it's not going to be able to compete, for example. I mean, it might, but it's going to put somebody else out of business, potentially. So it's really important to understand the context, and I think the responsibility for that understanding can rest with the local municipality if they wish to foster that kind of environment, or it can also come from the bottom up, from community group who can say, look, we want to save this building, we want to find a use for it, let's think strategically about how to do that. So there are a couple of ways that it can be done.
Hvala. V vaši predstavitvi smo tudi videli, da to strateško razmišljanje zahteva sodelovanje različnih sektorjev. Kakšno je stanje medsektorskega sodelovanja v Veliki Britaniji?
It's good, actually. Intersectoral cooperation is good, but it is difficult, particularly because local government and central government have had reduced funding for a very long period of time. Particularly local government is being affected. The funding cuts have meant that in the last 10 years, the provision for conservation expertise in local government has declined by nearly 40%, which is having a big impact on local authorities' abilities to make decisions, to be strategic, and to make nuanced decisions. So if you don't have someone with conservation expertise making decisions that have to be made in the local authority, either they make bad decisions or they just say no. And that's not constructive, because just saying no is not going to find solutions for buildings. It's very challenging because local government funding is changing in the UK. By 2021, there will be no central funding for local governments from the UK government. They must be able to pay for everything they do from the money they generate within their own boundaries, which means that the rich areas are going to get richer and the poor areas are going to get poorer, which highlights how important it is to find alternative sources of funding and alternative ways of making buildings pay for themselves, because the government backstop that we all have come to expect may not be there in future.
Hvala, zdaj ste mi napeljali na dve vprašanji, in sicer na vprašanje ljudi in vprašanje denarja. Pa se lotimo najprej vprašanja denarja. In sicer v Veliki Britaniji imate dolgo tradicijo in prakso javno-zasebnih partnerstv. Glede na to, da je pač financiranje strani javnega sektorja vse manjše, vsi upamo na financiranje strani zasebnega sektorja. Vendar pa me zanima, kaj ste se iz teh izkušenj javno-zasebnega partnerstva v Veliki Britaniji naučili. V zadnjem času v časopisih beremo, da tudi o zahtevah po ponovni nacionalizaciji, recimo britanskih železnic. Kaj pravite, na kakšen način bi se to vrstnim problemom in zapletom lahko nekako izognili na področju kulturne dediščine?
Okay, so it's quite a complex question because it's about how projects are funded. I think a more terrifying example of the failure of public-private partnerships is actually the UK national health system. In the 1990s and the 2000s, private companies were contracted to build new hospitals and to operate new hospitals, and they were paid by the government, and they used the government's money as collateral for loans. And the government now has to pay them for the service they're providing. I saw a statistic the other day that said a hospital that cost 118 million pounds to build is now costing 1.8 billion to pay back to the private sector. So I think the key to public-private partnership is you have to think about the horizon. It's not just about saving money now, because that might actually have a sting in the tail. It's really essential to ensure that if you do have a public-private partnership, the contracts are really sound, because private industry is in this for short-term gain, and that's not why the rest of us are here. We're here for the long-term survival of these assets. It can be done, and it can be done really, really successfully. I think there are some really cracking examples that I gave earlier today. The King's Cross area in central London is a good example, where there was a private construction company. There are private companies like Google are building their headquarters there. There's an education institution. There was a lot of meantime uses with community groups. In fact, they had a sort of a meantime community garden, and when the time came to clear that site for construction, there was a petition to try and keep the garden forever. But everybody accepted that at the beginning it was meant to be temporary. So these things can be done, but they have to be done very, very carefully. And I would warn against only inviting private entities in for the sake of financial expediency. Sometimes the hard journey might be the safer one. So just be very careful, I would say. It can be done.
Hvala. Zdaj pa še vprašanje ljudi. Prej ste omenili, da je lahko velik problem tudi določeno pomanjkanje znanj pri ljudeh. Kako se tega lotevate v Veliki Britaniji? Na kakšen način izobražujete bodoče menedžerje stavb kulturne dediščine?
There are a couple of ways that this is being done in the UK. The first is the use of technology. Obviously, a lot of knowledge can be shared on the internet and can be shared in perpetuity, so that anybody can learn what they need to learn. Better is to learn by doing. National bodies are trying very hard to empower those who work in conservation and in local government especially, to give them the skills they need to make the decisions that they need to make, and to ask the questions that they need to ask about projects that are being proposed to them. One of the other areas where the UK is really, really strong is the Great British Amateur. Our voluntary society is enormous. We have something like 400,000 or 500,000 people who volunteer in the heritage industry in the UK. And that's from, people who help garden in a country house to people who are actually spearheading multi-million-pound regeneration projects on behalf of a charity. And the skills of those people are actually crucial. Organizations like mine are here to help them, to give them the skills, to tell them where to look, to support them in any projects that they might be working on. But I think it's broader than that, and I think one of the benefits that our current society has is that a lot of people, they retire when they're 50, 60, and then they have a good 25 or 30 years of productivity left in them, and they want to do some good, so they volunteer in the kind of organizations that are involved in heritage. And that is fantastic, and that has proven really, really beneficial for heritage. But in the long term, I'm going to have to work until I die. I'm not going to be able to retire. My pension is not going to be worth anything. I would love to be able to dedicate 30 years to supporting heritage projects, but realistically, the means of encouraging those volunteers to work in those kinds of projects has to change, because people cannot go to a meeting every Tuesday night. You know, you have to be able to do things like have a Skype call or find alternative ways of involving people, and there are degrees of interest as well. You know, it's like getting into a swimming pool. Some people just dip their toe in and they're like, yeah, good job, bye. Some people get into their knees and they're like, yes, I'll help you for the festival, but then I have a job. And then there's some people who just jump in head first. And it's really important when you manage volunteers and you manage the workforce that you remind yourself that there are different tiers of volunteering. You can't expect a toe dipper to jump in head first. And so being able to cater to the needs of those people will actually garner huge returns in the long run, because they will stay engaged and they will contribute, but in a very different way to the way I think the current generation is contributing, just because of the nature of work and the nature of technology.
Hvala. Jerneja, Batič, z vašimi izkušnjami, z vašimi dolgoletnimi izkušnjami nam boste zagotovo znali razsvetliti kar nekaj vprašanj, ki bi jih mogoče na vas naslovili tudi drugi kolegi iz drugih občin. In sicer dopoldne smo slišali, da v Sloveniji kar na veliko obnavljamo stavbe kulturne dediščine, vendar pa da vedno to ni najboljši način revitalizacije, se pri obnovi pozabimo na vsebine. Na kakšen način se revitalizacije stavb kulturne dediščine lotevate v Ljubljani in na kakšen način dejansko razvijete že od vsega začetka vsebine, ki naj bi bile v teh stavbah?
Hvala za vprašanje. Začela bom mogoče mačkom bolj nazaj. Na Mestni občini Ljubljana smo pred 11 leti pravzaprav začeli neko sistematično delo, ne samo na področju kulturne dediščine, ampak tudi kulture nasploh. Namreč lotili smo se kar številnih analiz, na podlagi katerih je bila pripravljena strategija. Ta strategija je pravzaprav osnova za vse nadaljne delovanje, tudi na področju kulturne dediščine, o kateri danes govorimo. Pomembno je pa to zato, ker vsaka strategija je seveda na široko predebatirana in preverjena v javnosti med seveda številnimi zainteresirano javnostjo in seveda umetniki, ustvarjalci in tako naprej. Iz te strategije pravzaprav črpamo naše ideje in naša nova znanja in vedenja, ko se lotimo na primer tudi načrtovanja obnove nekega kulturnega spomenika. Zakaj? Na eni strani imamo v strategiji pravzaprav zapisano, kakšne so potrebe posameznikov, ustvarjalcev, javnih zavodov, javnosti, na drugi strani pa pravzaprav imamo nek nabor kulturne dediščine, kulturnih spomenikov, problemov, kot temu včasih rečemo, ki jih seveda moramo spraviti nazaj v življenje. Z prepletom pravzaprav teh dveh zadev pridemo do neke osnovne ideje, kaj pravzaprav v nek prostor lahko postavimo. Seveda pa vsaka stavba, vsak kulturni spomenik seveda ne more funkcionirati na način, da ne vem, daš v nek prostor bolnišnico ali daš v nek prostor muzej, kamor seveda to ni smiselno. Treba je seveda iskati tudi bistvo tega kulturnega spomenika, to se pravi, kako živi, kakšna je njegova zgodovina in kaj je tisto, kar ga bo nadgradilo. Tak primer, na primer, je zdaj ravno Švicarija, ki je v zaključni fazi, to je stavba v Tivoliju, v neposredni bližini Mednarodnega grafičnega likovnega centra. Tam smo se prav na ta način lotili zadeve in sicer tako da smo skozi zgodovino stavbe prišli do tega, da pravzaprav je bilo od nekdaj pač neko močno kulturno središče, umetniški center in prostor za likovnike, umetnike, ustvarjalce. Na drugi strani pa vemo, da že 50 let mestna občina Ljubljana ni investirala v prostore za ustvarjalce in da je to velika potreba v mestu. Tako za delovne prostore, kot seveda za rezidence, za izmenjave umetnikov. No in to je bilo pravzaprav prvo izhodišče, ko smo se začeli lotevati tega projekta, pravzaprav kakšne bojo tukaj vsebine. Ena od seveda pomembnih zadev je na začetku, ko seveda pripravljamo ta projekt, je tudi, kdo ga bo upravljal. Mi imamo pač recimo v grobem 3 variante, imamo javno-zasebno partnerstvo, imamo nevladni sektor, imamo javni sektor. Že, to se pravi, na začetku mora biti jasno, na kakšen način naj programi znotraj tega potekajo, da se potem odločimo, kateri od teh pravzaprav bo prevladal. Vesela sem, da ravno kar pripravljamo tudi eno javno-zasebno partnerstvo, kar je redkost pri nas. To je kulturni spomenik, staro letališče. V kratkem pričakujemo podpis pogodbe, kjer bo zasebnik dejansko investiral v kulturni spomenik in bo pač primerno vsebinam tudi seveda potem, primerno vsebine tudi seveda umestil v ta prostor. To je nekako na hitro zgodba.
Hvala lepa. Recimo v mestni občini Ljubljana ste zelo veseli, da se je nek zasebnik odločil vlagati v renovacijo kulturnega spomenika in v upravljanje tega kulturnega spomenika tudi. In vendar Ljubljana ima od vseh občin v Sloveniji vlaga največ denarja v kulturo. Kaj bi pa predlagali drugim manjšim občinam, ki nimajo takšnih sredstev za kulturo, kje naj dobijo sredstva za revitalizacijo svojih stavb?
Ko sem prišla na mestno občino Ljubljana, je bil proračun za kulturo med 16 in 18 milijonov. Danes je med 23 in 26 milijonov. Ne seveda vse v korist kulturne dediščine, ampak v veliki meri. Približno mesto vlaga med 2 in 3 milijona letno v obnovo kulturnih spomenikov in vzdrževanje kulturne dediščine. To pomeni, da smo pravzaprav to dosegli na način, da smo dokazali, pokazali, da je to pomembno. To se pravi, skozi strategijo, skozi načrtovan razvoj, skozi pripravljene projekte, ki smo jih načrtovali kar nekaj let. Ne vem, Švicarijo smo delamo že 10. leto, Plečnikovo hišo smo delali ravno tako 10 let. Zelo na hitro je šel Kinodvor, no? Tam smo res čez noč stvari naredili, vendar ni šlo za tako velike posege. Skratka, zelo načrtovano vodimo v bistvu vse te premike in skozi to seveda pridobivamo tudi možnost dodatnih sredstev. Usporedno pa zmeraj seveda poskušamo tudi pridobivati evropska sredstva. Včasih smo uspešni, včasih ne. Pri Švicariji na primer nismo bili uspešni, vendar kljub temu se mi zdi pomembno zaprošati za ta sredstva že zato, ker te na nek način prisilijo obrazci, sistemi in vse to, da pravzaprav greš skozi ves sistem, kaj vse je potrebno za projekt, da so ti jasni cilji že od vsega začetka. Seveda se bojo stvari skozi čas spreminjali znotraj tega, vendar tisti ključni osnovni cilji morajo biti jasni od začetka do konca projekta. In naprimer tudi ta evropska sredstva včasih, če jih ne dobimo, seveda recimo, da je vsaj vloga koristna za to, da seveda nas prisili v nek sistem, da malo bolj sistematično načrtujemo. Skratka, čim več analiz in strategije, čeprav so včasih duhomorne.
Se pravi, treba se začeti ukvarjati s projekti, potem pa s problemi pridejo tudi rešitve, ne? Še eno vprašanje, in sicer v javnosti se pogosto pojavlja mnenje, da saj že imamo to krasno hišo, ki je kulturno zaščitena, ampak takrat, ko jo pa dejansko hočemo revitalizirati na sodoben način in vanjo vnesti neke sodobne vsebine, se pa zaplete pri Zavodu za varstvo kulturne dediščine, ki ničesar ne pusti. Vem, da je tukaj nekaj kolegov iz Zavoda za varstvo kulturne dediščine, ampak Recimo, kaj v takem primeru? Je to res takšna situacija resnična ali je malo mitološka, bi rekla?
No, če dam primer, kolegi več ali manj poznate Švicarijo zdajle, če bi rekli, da bomo tam umestili pač šolo in bi zahtevali ne vem kakšne steklene površine, seveda je logično, da spomeniška služba to ne bo pustila. To je jasno, ne? Mislim, da to, kot sem prej rekla, vsaka vsebina ne gre v vsak objekt. To se pravi, že pri načrtovanju vsebin je treba razmišljati o tistih osnovnih potezah kulturnega spomenika, na kak način in pravzaprav kaj je tisto dopustno in kaj ni dopustno. To se pravi, tudi nekaj vedenje že pri načrtovalcu o tem, kakšne so neke možnosti nekega objekta in kje jih absolutno ni. Seveda pa se potem znotraj tega, če so seveda vsebine smiselne, vedno najdejo kompromisi, rešitve, ideje in tudi spomeniška služba pri nas, kakor se včasih sliši, da je hud bavbav, ni tako strašna, mogoče stoji malo na okopih zaradi pač svoje pozicije, ker se ves čas bori na terenu, kar je razumljivo, vendar za nekim pametnim dialogom se zmeraj najdejo rešitve, tako da to mislim, da ne sme biti ovira.
No, torej ovir ni. Alma Selimović je predstavnica upravljavcev. Je predstavnica upravljavcev in sicer je del nevladne organizacije, ki upravlja z staro mestno elektrarno v Ljubljani. Alma, pogosto si nevladne organizacije ali pa tudi posamezniki in podjetja zamišljamo, kako super bi bilo dobiti neko lepo staro stavbo v središču mesta in potem v tej stavbi prirejati koncerte in kulturne prireditve in potem ljudje pridejo in je to srečen konec lepe zgodbe. Ampak kaj dejansko dobimo s tem, ko dobimo eno tako stavbo v upravljanje? Ali je res vse tako rožnato? Kaj se potem zgodi v tistem trenutku, ko dobiš to stavbo v upravljanje?
Veš, kaj pravijo za uresničitev sanj? Da je to najhujša nočna mora, ne? Ne, zdaj sem malo premočno začela. Tako je, dokler nimaš stavbe oziroma dokler nimaš infrastrukture za neko dejavnost, ki jo upravljaš, je to seveda nekaj sanjskega, ne? Ko pa to dobiš, pa moraš spremeniti način delovanja, ne? Če prej deluješ zelo taktično, torej imaš neke programe, ki jih hipno umeščaš, hipno se lahko odločaš, te v bistvu infrastruktura oziroma prostor totalno prizemlji in moraš začeti delati absolutno bolj strateško kot prej. In zdaj sprememba tega mindseta je, se mi zdi, precej težka in naporna, predvsem pa nihče ne dobi stavbe v idealnih okoliščinah, ne. Jaz mislim, da si me tudi zato izzvala k temu vprašanju in sicer jaz sem bila enkrat na enem ful lepem sestanku, kjer smo se pogovarjali o strategiji in je potem ena kolegica rekla, ja, v redu, bomo razmišljali o strategiji, ampak jaz imam pokvarjene WC-je v stavbi, ne? O tem moram razmišljati. Skratka, razpet si med neko zelo strateško razmišljanje in neke upravljavske probleme, ki se tičejo velikih vsakodnevnih banalnosti, torej v neko gospodinjstvo si porinjen, ne? Ki je sicer zelo lepo in mi imamo precej dobro izkušnjo s staro mestno elektrarno, mogoče tudi deloma zaradi tega, ker prej je bil nek razmislek o tem, kaj naj bi noter bilo in stavba je primerna za opravljanje te dejavnosti. Je pa tako, kot ti si tudi omenila besedo dekor, ne, tehniška dediščina, v kateri smo mi in tudi kulturna, je izjemno lep dekor. Ko stopiš noter, to je fascinantno, stopiš v proizvodno halo 120 let staro, ampak seveda smo znotraj nekih okvirjev, ki so pa nesprejemljivi, ker pa to je dediščina, ki pa tudi predstavljajo neke realne okoliščine našega delovanja oziroma pri nas dodatno še to, da to ni samo dediščina, ampak je živa stvar. Noter je logistični center za elektriko, torej mi podlegamo tudi nekim drugim realnostim, kot je ta, ne.
Mogoče še vprašanje. Vi ste dejansko to revitalizacijo stare mestne elektrarne zelo resno že pred leti zastavili. V cel razvoj ste vpeli tudi slavnega urbanega sociologa gospoda Bianchinija, vendar pa se s časom potrebe in pogoji dela spreminjajo. Na kakšen način vi v bistvu na kakšen način razvijate svoje občinstvo, na kakšen način ga ohranjate?
Mi delamo, tako kot sem prej rekla, da nekako plujemo med taktiko in strategijo, tako tudi plujemo med ogromno deležniki, ne. En bistven deležnik za nas so seveda financerji. Mi upravljamo s prostorom in dobivamo za to sredstva ministrstva in mesta. Torej, oni so en naš deležnik. Drugi za nas izjemno pomemben deležnik, preden pridem do občinstva, je seveda tako imenovana scena. Mi upravljamo prostor, ki je na voljo drugim. Torej, mi nimamo noter samo svojega programa. Naš program predstavlja mogoče 20% od celotnega programa v prostoru, ker je bil prostor revitaliziran in je financiran za to, da nudi nek servis, in ta servis je, da zagotavlja prostor, da zagotavlja oder in vadbene površine za nevladno uprizoritveno sceno. In torej že to sta dva zelo močna akterja z ogromno interesi, potem pa je seveda naš ključni deležnik, ki pa je občinstvo. In zdaj, kako pa mi zagotavljati prostor, ki bo za občinstvo na nek način privlačen, po drugi strani pa ki bo nudil vsebine, ki jih drugje ni na voljo. Pričemer imamo izjemno malo vpliva na vsebine, ker nimamo programskega denarja, ampak imamo upravljavski denar, torej mi gostimo večinoma tuje programe, ne. Zdaj, mi se z občinstvom oziroma nasplošno z neko našo vlogo v tej lokalni skupnosti, ki je na mikroravni četrt Tabor, na malo večji ravni Ljubljana, ampak vse do mednarodne javnosti, poskušamo lotevati z prepletanjem, tako da v elektrarni najdete neke mikrolokalne programe do ogromnih mednarodnih programov, ki jih večinoma prenesejo noter mednarodni festivali, tudi naš med drugim. In z nekim niveliranjem med tem, ne. In se mi zdi, da je čar elektrarne ravno v tem, da lahko noter najdeš neko mikroaktivnost, kjer gostimo sosednjo šolo, lahko pa najdeš neko totalno uveljavljeno ime sodobne uprizoritvene scene, ki pride po vseh evropskih odrih še k nam, oziroma ne, najprej k nam, potem pa na vse druge velike evropske odre, ne.
No, skromni že niste. Ampak zdaj še eno vprašanje, tudi prav, da niste skromni, zato ker namreč stara elektrarna je res pomembno mesto v Ljubljani in tudi v soseski Tabor, kjer se nahaja, je v zadnjih letih tako rekoč spremenila način življenja soseske, povezovanja raznih deležnikov. Alma, kaj mislite, na kakšen način bi ta soseska živela, če stare elektrarne ne bi bilo? V tem smislu, kot je sedaj, namenjene skupnostnim vsebinam, kulturi.
Zdaj si spet ne upam stopiti na ta teren pretencioznosti, ne.
Kar.
Ampak, ko se je elektrarna otvorila leta 2004, je elektrarna otvorila scena in dogodek se je imenoval Če nas ne bi bilo, bi si nas morali izmisliti. Jaz mislim, da če ne bi bilo elektrarne, bi si sigurno kdo izmislil kaj druga. Mislim, da je to, kar se dogaja na Taboru in okrog elektrarne, tudi del nekega širšega gibanja po Ljubljani. Ljubljana se spreminja. Jaz sem zelo dober lakmusov papir, ker nisem iz Ljubljane in Ljubljana je zelo drugačna, kot je bila 10-15 let nazaj. Mislim pa, da je elektrarna oziroma delovanje okrog nje mogoče dalo en tak odločilen push znotraj četrti, ker smo z ostalimi organizacijami, ki jih je v tej četrti ogromno tudi soustanovili kulturno četrt Tabor, in da je dala en tak ključen poriv mogoče in s programi v elektrarni, deloma pa tudi z programi, ki se nekako pronicajo ven iz elektrarne. Tle je bil spet odločilen v bistvu ena raziskava potreb, ki smo jo naredili znotraj četrti, kjer smo poskušali lokalno prebivalstvo predvsem sondirati z vprašanji, česa jim manjka. Ugotovili se je, da jim manjka pač skupnostnih aktivnosti, da pogrešajo zelene površine in pa prostore druženja, ki niso komercialni. In na to smo se mi odzvali z nekimi mikroakcijami, ki smo jih izvajali predvsem v partnerstvu z drugimi organizacijami, in mislim, da je bil dober odziv. Je pa to tako zelo dolgotrajno delo, ki rodi sadove po letih in letih dela. Poskušamo se pa prilagoditi tudi razmeram, ker recimo odkar je elektrarna oder, se je tudi situacija odrov v Ljubljani bistveno spremenila, ne. Ko je elektrarna odprla svoja vrata, je bila eden izmed redkih podobnih odrov. Od takrat so še Španski borci, Kino Šiška, še nekaj drugih iniciativ. Tako da mi tudi moramo neprestano iskati neko svoje mesto pod soncem oziroma skozi ugotavljati, kaj rabi občinstvo, kaj rabi umetniška skupnost in nekako probati najti pot med temi potrebami. No.
Hvala lepa. Zdaj pa moj naslednji sogovornik. Massimo, ti se boš verjetno lahko navezal na, na to zadnje razmišljanje Nedela?
No.
Do you have your...
Okay. Now I can hear.
Verjetno se boš lahko navezal na ta zadnja razmišljanja Alme Selimović o temu, kako so pomembni deležniki za razvoj nekega projekta, kako je stalno treba delati z ljudmi, da projekt živi, ker namreč vaša revitalizirana kmetija dejansko je povezala med sebojno kar 10 nevladnih in zasebnih organizacij in tudi danes ima številne deležnike. Povejte mi, kako s takšno kmetijo dejansko upravljate, ker smo videli, da je vaš upravljavski model kar zakompliciran. Ne samo, da imate svet direktorjev, v ta upravljavski model so vključeni številni deležniki, pa še prostovoljci zraven. Kako to poteka na vsakdanji ravni?
We have started with the farmhold managing from the governance point of view, because it was the most difficult part of our work, because we came from a volunteer and activist story of pressure to the municipality, and we had to transform that in a managing model. And so we decided to create, to help the volunteer to create a stable table that each week or 2 weeks they will meet and decide which are the issues from their point of view. And one member of the board participate to the volunteer meetings, trying to explain the reason why the decision of the board, and trying to capture the main issues from the volunteer table. And at the very beginning we also create a table with the commercial activities managers, because in the first part of our activity to fit a restaurant with for free cultural activities and social activities, it was not so easy. So we have had one table for, I don't remember exactly, 3 or 4 months with all the commercial activities to establish the common guidelines for the managing of the spaces, for managing also for daily measures, stuff and so on. Afterward we closed, we ended because it was too difficult to have so many meetings, and we established to see every time a big problem was at the doors. And we have the assembly twice a year, and the assembly is the place where all the 10 entities try to know and to participate to decide the strategy. The board is for day-to-day decision. The table of volunteers try to contribute to the board decisions, and the other stakeholder, the commercial activities, when a problem is at the door. This is our model.
Skratka, zadeva je kar kompleksna, ne? Ni samo enega oske skupine ljudi, ki bi vsemu odločala, ampak zanima me, na kakšen način pa, videli smo, da imate kar nekaj zasebnih partnerjev, komercialnih tudi. Na kakšen način pa vključujete te komercialne partnerje in na kakšen način jih sploh izbirate? Ali jih izbirate, ker videli smo, da za razliko od vseh večine ostalih primerov niste subvencionirani strani občine ali države, ampak dejansko vi plačujete občini za to, da lahko izvajate skupnostne programe. To je res precej zanimiv primer. Ampak vseeno ste se odločili, da večina vaših dejavnosti ne bo komercialnih, kar je kar nepričakovano.
the model for the political and economic managing of the commercial activities was established starting from some guidance for the selection of the commercial activities. And at the end, for the main one, that is the restaurant, was one of the associates that decided to start to managing these activities, creating a company for this managing and fitting 100% to our guidance, of course. For the other ones, of course, to all the commercial activities, of course, we ask for a rent. And this is the basis of our revenues, of the most part of our revenues. And the other two part of our revenues come from the farmer market. That means that each farmer pay one fee for their presence. And the third part of our revenues come when we rent a part of the not commercial activities for an association, or for they pay also a little fee, but that depends from their nature. If they are private for profit, they pay more. If they are associated, they pay, for example, a theater rehearsal, they pay less, and so on. We have this three possibility to get revenues and some special project, but it would be very long to explain. I think it's
Se pravi, da je razmerje med komercialnimi programi in nekimi javnimi neprofitnimi programi zelo pomembno, če hočemo razviti finančno, pa tudi vsebinsko vzdržen projekt na koncu koncev. Ne? Še ena zadeva se mi je nekako usidrala v spomin v vaši predstavitvi, in sicer, da ste v vaši predstavitvi izpostavili večnamenskost prostora kot eden od pomembnih faktorjev vaše uspešnosti. Ali bi lahko o tem kaj več povedali?
Yes, it was also another big challenge at our beginning, because we knew for sure that we had 70% of space without commercial activities, and the idea was what to do with that. And so the volunteers present some projects about what to do, and we decided that all these projects were good, or almost all, but we had the necessity to have a space free from furniture, free from everything that hamper the possibility to change the use each day. So we have a very flexible model also with the staff to move and to transform all the rooms depending from what is happening this day. Of course, the collective garden, no, there are some steady things but the most part of the space is continuously transformed each day depending on what is happening. And I think that it's the best solution also, because we have lots of relation with different companies, different associations, different cultural entities, and we have the possibility also to select the best one from our point of view, for our strategy, and also for their own possibility to have some good activities in our space.
Hvala lepa. Zdaj bi pa še mogoče vašo pozornost obrnila malce na našo lokalno sceno. In sicer, ko ste verjetno videli, ima Ljubljana kar močno ruralno zaledje. Zakaj mislite, da je pomembno nekako ohranjati to ruralno dediščino tudi v mestih?
Oh yes, I think you are, as I have seen, you are doing many things about that. But we have tried to use also our farmhold, our structure, to show to the people, for example, to the school, what is what was and what is agriculture. What is also, because Milan has a big part of agriculture in this territory. And for example, a few people know that a large part of the rice that is eaten in the cities or in the region came from the southern part of Milan. And so we have established the necessity to reinforce the identity, the agricultural identity of our region, also hosting some shows, some picture exhibitions, some conferences, some book presentation about the agricultural reality around Milan, and to create a bridge between an ancient farmhold that now is not a farmhold, and all the farmhold activities that are going on now surrounding the Milan and the Cascina.
Hvala lepa. Mogoče, če podate vaši sosedi mikrofon, ki bo moja zadnja sogovornica. Hvala. Marija, poslušali smo pač vse te zanimive predstavitve iz vašega projekta in mislim, da nas je ena bolj navduševala kot druga. Ampak kaj imajo po vašem skupnega vsi ti dobri primeri? Kaj so ti elementi, ki so se v vaši analizi stalno ponavljali?
Yes, that's an interesting question. I've asked myself these questions the last months nearly every day. I had this big package of very, very interesting practices, and there was obviously a common denominator, but it was hard to give the baby a name. You can name it in a very abstract level, in scientific words, or in very basic words and common words, but we have heard very practical ideas of common denominator and examples, and I have chosen to take and to speak in the abstract level. So I would like to answer this question with open-mindedness. I saw in every practice open-mindedness. Due to the cooperation between the partners, the public partner, private partner, and cultural and creative contributors. And I have seen open-mindedness in the basic concept of the practices. And to say this in exaggerated words, I would like to describe a scene. Open-mindedness from the audience's or guest's point of view. If you have a normal commercial place, an urban environment, like a cinema, you go straight through the door with your partner. You go to the point of sales, pay your ticket, take your Coca-Cola, take your popcorn, go inside, watch the newest blockbuster, and after that you go home straight to your apartment, and that's it. If you go to a local independent cinema, for example a Watershed in Great Britain and Bristol, or other spaces like we have seen here and presented here, you go slowly through the door. You enter a space to be. You look right and left and see a curly space on the wall. There are pictures of local artists and painters, and then you check the flyers because of the very interesting cultural program which is presented in this room, and because it's not only a cinema, there are a lot of other possibilities. Then to go to the ticket sales point, and then you begin to have a little talk to the salesman, because he's not only here to gain salary, but he's living next to the space, or has his atelier next to this, because he's the painter. He the whole day he met his work, and after that he's earning some money at the ticket sales. After that you go and watch a very interesting art house movie, and after gaining such impressive experience, you have discussion with the regisseur of this film because he was invited, and you have the possibility to get into contact and to get information about his motivations to make this film, and after that you end up in the bar next to the space, and
after we prefer
it's
not
just
to
a
know.
very long story. Maybe you have an idea which what would I like to say with open-mindedness.
Super. Se pravi, vsi si lahko predstavljamo to nekako svobodno, odprto mišljenje v teh prostorih kulture in kreativnosti, ampak zato, da ti prostori delujejo, zato, da so finančno vzdržni, zato, da ima natakar lahko poklic in prodaja tisto pivo, pač mora nekdo v ozadju vse lepo skonstruirati in splanirati. Recimo v vseh teh primerih, ki ste jih analizirali, kaj so tisti aspekti, ki bi bili prenošljivi iz ene države v drugo? Ker dostikrat smo se znašli vsi v kakšnih takšnih prostorih, ponavadi v tujini, in smo si rekli, super, to je super prostor, ampak pri nas kaj takšnega ni možno. Kaj pa je tisto, kar je možno prenesti iz ene v drugo prakso, konkretno v teh vaših primerih?
Yeah, in this case, it's a good idea to look on elements which are already transferred. There are elements which are obvious. They come again and again, and some practices choose the same possibility for financing like others. And for example, I have seen a lot an element which I would like to name to gain property. We have seen in case of Stana Elektrana that is also a very interesting possibility or opportunity to run the program as the NGO and to be one of the contributors in the public-private partnership. But it's also possible to choose another one. I've seen a lot of practices like that. They choose to buy the place. And it's I have no idea how it's possible to be so brave, but for example, it's interesting if you would like to gain property and choose this way, and you only have the public partner as the contributor, so different roles. Then often the NGOs or found a limited liable company. And for example, in Germany, we have the situation there's a so-called Mietshäuser syndicate seems like crime, and it's maybe a little bit political name, but it's a very impressive example because it's already swept around borders. It's a model where at the beginning in 1999 people who would like to have their own houses in urban space could found these limited liable company together with the syndicate, and there were it was possible to gain private loans with this company, and now after years we have 123 very successful projects, and now there's the point, and because of that that's for example an interesting element which is transferable. It comes out that now we have not only a project to gain space for living, but also with this model space to gain cultural and open spaces for everyone.
Hvala lepa. Naš čas se približuje k koncu, tako da bi jaz samo še zaključila ta pogovor z nekaj kratkimi mislimi naših udeleženk in udeleženca. In sicer zanima me, če lahko v enem ali dveh stavkih za zaključek poveste, kaj je tisto najbolj pomembno pri revitalizaciji stavb kulturne dediščine oziroma pri njihovem upravljanju. Pa začnemo kar z vami, Tiva, ki ste tudi otvorili tale pogovor.
I think the most important thing in the revitalization of cultural heritage and the sort of ability to perpetuate them is resilience. You need to plan for success and failure. You need to plan for growth and shrinking. You need to plan for different sizes of consortia. You need to plan for different sizes of groups, different sizes of volunteers. The more resilient you can make your organization, the more likely it is to survive whatever gets thrown your way. And that will ensure that the heritage that you are seeking to rescue is more likely to be protected.
Jaz bi rekla, da je treba dobro razmisliti, kaj bo noter, da že ko se dela prenova, da se razmišlja o tem, kdo bo prostor uporabljal, kako ga bo uporabljal in seveda razmišlja tudi o omejitvah, ki jih dediščina daje, ampak predvsem prilagoditi prostor in ga narediti uporabnega in prijetnega tistim, ki potem prihajajo noter z neko novo rabo. Ne.
Hvala lepa.
I agree with Tiva. The resilience that is in our case, and I think that it's a transferable model, means multi-level governance, a multi-purpose use, and a multi-revenue model. This is, I think, the best.
Okay, 2 more sentences.
Yeah, and from the point of view of the person who had to collect and to transfer everything, I would like to say, please don't what you are doing now. Do what you are doing now. Get into contact, communicate to each other, and gain trust and gain communication the whole time also on an international way. Yeah, it's a good element.
Bi jaz nadaljevala s komunikacijo. Mislim, da komunikacija je res izjemnega pomena pri vsakem načrtovanju projekta in potem tudi izvedbi revitalizacije in seveda potem tudi delovanju in vsebinah. Poudarila bi to zato, ker od vsega začetka, ko so jasni cilji, mora biti seveda vsaj delno jasni tudi vsi deležniki, ki bodo seveda sodelovali v tem procesu revitalizacije in kasnejšega izvajanja nekega programa. Zato je ta komunikacija konstantna in seveda vsi, ki kdajkoli ste ali boste obnavljali nek spomenik in želeli, da kasneje v njem poteka nek program, ki bo seveda vzdržen, kvaliteten in bo nadgradil to dediščino, seveda vedno je potrebno od vsega začetka imeti dobro komunikacijo z vsemi. Od tistih, ki jih izseliš iz hiše in seveda jih moraš premestiti na nek drug prostor, do tistih, ki bodo kasneje upravljali, do tistih, ki bodo kasneje, do tistih, ki delajo in obnavljajo sam spomenik. Skratka, vsi, ki participirajo kakorkoli pri najmanjšem delu tega procesa.
Najlepša hvala. Zdaj pa mogoče še čas za nekaj vprašanj. Vidim, da že vsi željno čakate. Prosim, ko postavite vprašanje, se predstavite in tudi povejte, komu je vprašanje namenjeno. Hvala.
Črt Tauzes from the Institute for the Protection of Cultural Heritage of Slovenia. I'd like to pose 2 questions actually, one for Ms. Montalbano directly and one more general question. Thank you for a great presentation you made and the contribution to this roundtable. Do you have, and could you share it with us? Do you have like manual for managing various types of stakeholders that you engage in renovation and revitalization processes. Because on one hand, right, we heard today that, let's say, my institution is supposed to be this huge break on everything, so how do you avoid situations like that? And apropos your statement that two heads know more than one, but you have a very nice proverb in English too: too many cooks spoil the broth, right? So there must be a way to deconflict situations. And so, do you have any formal list on that?
Our organization doesn't have any formal guidance on how to manage stakeholders in terms of things like stakeholder mapping or implementing a communication plan. But there is a lot of guidance out there in the UK for voluntary sector organizations that want to do this. Personally, I would also look at actual formalized project management methodologies. I find that they are also quite helpful to kind of help you get things right in your head. Stakeholder mapping is a really useful exercise that we tend to do, because you identify all your different stakeholders and then you put them on a kind of matrix based on the power that they have over your project and the interest that they have over your project. And then you can work out who the ones are that are really important, that you need to stay in communication with, or that you need to continue to kind of convert. And then you have the ones that you can worry about maybe a little bit later. We do have some guidance on our website on business planning, which is useful. Obviously, it's got a UK focus, but it was recently translated into Dutch. So if you read Dutch, you could also have a copy of it, I suppose. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, technically. Thank you. And a question for all of you. I've really missed information and communication technologies role in the whole event today, except for fleeting a reference to using social media. I'm missing the whole sector here that can actually, in my opinion at least, very profoundly impact on our work and our success of our efforts in revitalization of heritage. Thank you.
That's quite a contentious comment. I think it's a fair point to say that we kind of have glossed over the power that social media and communication can have in some of these projects. I mean, to give you an example from the UK, there is on the south bank of the River Thames an area called the Royal Festival Hall, another spectacular brutalist monster, with an undercroft in the basement, which has become the home of skateboarding in the UK. It just kind of, it was an organic thing that happened in the 1970s and 80s, with that when people took up skateboarding, they started to skateboard in the undercroft, and it became like the home of British skateboarding. Now, the Royal Festival Hall, which is the building above, is a national institution, and it wanted to revitalize its building to try and generate more income, and they decided they wanted to displace the skateboarders. The skateboarders were not happy about this, and through a social media campaign, they actually managed to obtain 60,000 objections to the planning application from all over the world, which effectively stopped the Royal Festival Hall in its tracks. And they now have to completely change their plans to incorporate the skateboarders back into the design of the new program. So you're absolutely right that, you know, don't underestimate the power of social media and communication. But I think also, you know, 50,000 likes isn't 50,000 euros. So it's a balance.
Mogoče še kdo od gostov želi odgovoriti na to vprašanje? V redu, naslednje vprašanje, prosim.
Hello, my name is János Keresnyei. I'm working with the Cultural Innovation Competency Center in Pécs, in Hungary. Actually, we run a co-working house in a heritage building, which is privately owned. But in our best practice, we showed our cultural district, which is publicly owned. And I think one of the main question, and I would emphasize a little bit more this question, is the ownership. There is a very big difference between countries which had never been under communism and post-communist countries as well. because during the communism, the private ownership didn't exist. So neither the capital, there is no capital. There are no private people who has enough capital to renovate a building like that. So the situation is completely different, and all the local governments are in big trap if they have to, in Eastern countries, so the post-communist countries, all the local government has a big problem because there is not enough capital in the private sector to help the renovation or revitalization of abandoned buildings. And I just see Louis, I just remember that Germany is the exception because you become in one country, so it's a bit different, but the other countries are in a deep problem. And the public-private partnership could be the solution for that, and this is our goal, to establish this kind of models. And I think the reprivatization, some kind of conditional reprivatization, could be a basis of a new model. It has an effect for the running and the sustainability as well. I just try to analyze the best practices, and I recognize that almost everywhere there is public money. Even if we talk about the power plant was owned by a private company, but it was not E.ON. It was, I suppose, a Slovenian company before. And it became, later the property became public, and it became privatized for the E.ON. And the business model is it's quite interesting nowadays. Who pays for whom? Who pays to whom for what? And this is the question always. We have to put these three questions. So that's why I love the Italian model, because it's completely private in this working system, in this business model, because you never have to apply for public support. You have to keep your property in a good shape, even if you have to pay some money for it's not a small money, you have to pay for the government. So I think my question, I'm sorry for the long ideas, but my question is, don't you think that to change the state of ownership would be the first step?
Kdo bi odgovoril na to vprašanje, na ta izziv?
I can start with a bit, please. Okay. Interesting that you should say reprivatization, because that's pretty much exactly what's happening in the UK. Local authorities are divesting themselves of public buildings in masses because they cannot afford to keep them or maintain them anymore. It's even happening in central London with those really important government buildings that are being sold off and being turned into hotels or things like that. I think there is definitely a place in the market, there has to be, for private interests to invest in heritage, without question, because we have so much, and public funds are decreasing. So I think that's why this conference is quite timely, because working up those models is essential.
Yeah, and just one remark, I just forgot to mention, it is a hypocrite approach to say the business is something from devil in these places. I'm completely agree with those models where the business is a running machine of the maintenance and the running of the business, running of the heritage places.
I think that's probably fair. I don't think any of us think that business is the devil.
No, but there is an option sometimes.
Yeah, I'm sure that there.
Should be a business approach. Yeah.
No, I quite agree. Does anybody else want to say? I'd be interested to know. That way.
Morda bi odgovorila na ta način, da v Ljubljani se že dolgo časa trudimo, da bi našli seveda zasebne investitorje v kulturne spomenike, in to je problem, velik problem. to priznam. In zato sem bila tudi že prej tako vesela, ko sem povedala, da smo našli nekoga, ki bo investiral v najstarejše pač slovensko ljubljansko letališče, ki je danes že skoraj del mesta, v neposredni bližini trgovskega centra BTC. Ko smo razmišljali o vsebini, seveda jasno je, da si vsak želi, da je tam predstavljeno staro letališče, prvo letališče in tako naprej. Vendar kako animirati investitorja, da seveda bo šel v javno-zasebno partnerstvo, da bo podpisal pogodbo za 20-30 let in seveda investiral svoja sredstva. Dolgo časa smo usklajevali, seveda, da se je tudi on našel v tem projektu in da je iz tega videl, da seveda recimo, da bo imel vsaj pozitivno nulo, če ne dobička. Kar pomeni, da to ni enostavno, je težko. Še posebej v svetu, kjer seveda privatni kapital ni navajen vlagati v dediščino, v umetnost. Imamo neke izjeme, kot je Škrabčeva domačija, tudi v Sloveniji, imamo posameznike. Tudi to se razvija. Tem stvarem seveda je potrebno čas, veliko časa, ker če pomislim, kako je bilo pred 20-25 leti v Sloveniji, ko seveda ljudje se niso zavedali dediščine, ko so indiferentni do tega, ko je bilo seveda, če si rekel, dediščine, bilo nekaj, kar je bilo odveč. Danes je pa tudi skozi to animacijo ljudi, da so ljudje tisti, ki bodo ohranili dediščino, seveda edina pot za to, da se vzpostavi ta kultura in skozi to kulturo seveda bo prišlo tudi do tega, da se bodo našli investitorji tudi na področju gospodarstva, zasebnega kapitala, ki bodo, jaz verjamem v to, začeli vlagati. Seveda pa to ni čez noč, to je zelo, zelo dolga pot. Jaz vem, da dnevi dediščine smo jih začeli kdaj, Gojko, pred 25 leti, ne? In je velik rezultat. Je velik rezultat ravno v tem prebiku razmisleka o tem, kaj dediščina, kaj ti pomeni in ali je smiselno v njo vlagati ali ne. In tukaj mislim, da upam, da gremo naprej.
Želi mogoče še kdo?
Yes, just one thing that I want to add, because I hope our model is not replied in other situations, because we have a public ownership and a no-profit, a private no-profit management that hosts the commercial activities. Okay, it's good, but it's possible only because our location, our structure has a high commercial value, and it's possible to rent with a high rent. I don't think it's possible to do that in many other places, in Milan, for example. And I know that in other cities in Italy, for example in Turin, they are trying to find a different model, because 100% restoration from private is not possible from a commercial point of view, from a private point of view, because you haven't the possibility to get so much revenues if the location is not in a very good position like the center of Milan.
Can I just add one more thing? I'd like to tell you about one of the initiatives that the Heritage Lottery Fund has in the UK, which is quite a groundbreaking model. It's called the Heritage Enterprise Scheme. And it's a grant scheme that they offer to partnership projects, have to be spearheaded by a charity or a non-governmental organisation, but there have to be business benefits and there has to be a private enterprise partner. And the purpose of the grant scheme is to bridge the conservation deficit that I was telling you about, to enable private enterprise to thrive in that building. And I think it's surprising actually, but that scheme has not been taken up with nearly as much enthusiasm as we would have hoped in the UK. And I think the reason for that is because this whole idea of public-private partnership, first of all, it can be very tricky. And second of all, it can go so horribly wrong. But I think I'd like to echo the comments of my colleague over there. The really powerful thing is the prestige that heritage has, and people really value it. And I think it's our responsibility as heritage practitioners to almost be evangelists for why heritage is special, to convert people to the idea that working in a heritage building is a good idea, that being surrounded by heritage is a great idea. Because, you know, I've had so many people go, why keep it? Why don't you build something new? And you're like, but it's the story of the town. It's amazing. Don't you want to know all of the amazing stories? And it's the job to, our job, I think, is to evangelize about why heritage is worth keeping.
Nas ste že prepričali. Vidimo pa, da je v ozadju še eno vprašanje, se mi zdi.
I'm ready. My name is Michał, and I'm from I'm one of the directors of Municipal Cultural Center in Bydgoszcz, Poland. I'm a director of Literature and New Media Division. So as you can imagine, my question will switch a bit the discussion into art and artistic values. And I have a question to Alma, I guess, mostly, and to Tiva also, because they mentioned the process of negotiation of needs of users and of, well, artists. So I have a question on how to achieve this state of equilibrium between viewers, users' needs and the needs of artists that work in such a space we talk about.
You never achieve it. You always aspire to achieve it. I guess it's a lot of dialogue, as everybody says. It's constant negotiations, and you always fail, basically. But every time you do it, you fail better, I think. I think we're witnessing, especially in Slovenia after 2009 and 2010, worsening conditions in the NGO sector in terms of financings being cut all the time. So the pressure on people that have resources, like a space, is getting tougher and tougher. And I think in these conditions, it's our responsibility to really think about what we can offer, not just in terms of space, but also support. So I'll give you a practical example. Like, one of our conscious decisions was to support first productions, to support really small-scale productions, to support things that wouldn't be able to get a space elsewhere. So, you know, not to contribute to people that already have a lot, giving them more, but like to support the most fragile part of the scene, to support the newcomers. It doesn't mean that we don't do big projects, but it means that, you know, our ear is especially sensitive to the ones that have no access to resources, basically. In terms of audience, what's our, I think, biggest problem is that we are still working on the intuitive level. We don't have any serious research of our audience. We did research of needs, but it's a limited research where we can, you know, also respond in a limited way. So I think what would benefit us would be like a serious research of our audience. But I think on the intuitive level, we do try to sense what are the needs, and especially try to follow what is it that is not offered in the city or on the scene, and respond to that. Like one of the things that we discovered is that there's a huge demand now for dialogue, for debate, for reflection, and we tried to respond to that, at least partly, and we try to follow what's happening also elsewhere, not just on our stage and in our space. But to have an equilibrium, I think we never have it. There is always things falling apart, and we try to pick them up.
What's that saying? You can't please all of the people all of the time. it's interesting. We recently did a feasibility study for a small theatre in the north of England that was until recently 100% funded by the local government, and the local government has come into an agreement with a local charity who are going to operate the theatre. And over the next 5 years, their funding from the local government is going to taper off. So they came to us and said, help! How do we bridge the gap? How do we make the funding work? You know, how do we stand on our own 2 feet? And it's a very difficult question, because if you have the luxury of being able to service an industry that really needs you, then that's a fantastic position to be in. But if you have to try and keep the roof on, then sometimes you have to do something that might be commercial, but not necessarily what you would like to do. And I think you have to balance, you know, pragmatism with artistic vision in the interests of the building that you're looking after.
Hvala lepa za to zanimivo vprašanje in zanimive odgovore. Slovenci smo znani po tem, da imamo pozna kosila. Ne bi vas radi zadrževali kot talce še dolgo časa, ampak vzajemo še zadnje kratko vprašanje, potem pa gremo res na kosilo. Prosim.
Gojko Zupan, Minister of Culture, Director for Heritage. Vprašanje bo v slovenščini, najprej za Tivo, potem pa za Marijo. Tiva, da gremo širše, stavb na regije in na krajino. Kateri prostor Angliji bi bil zanimiv kot pozitiven vzorec ohranjene krajine in posameznih objektov v njem kot nek vzorec. Za Marijo pa še to, ker v njenem CV-ju je, da je potovala v daljne dežele in najbolj razvita dežela, tehnološko Japonska. Kaj bi se lahko mi naučili tudi od njihove nesnovne, se pravi intangible heritage?
Hvala lepa za to vprašanje. Obe gosti prosim, da ste zelo kratki pri odgovorih in se potem z kolegom zmenita za nadaljno razpravo še pri kosilu.
So you want an example of positive regeneration on a large scale, not in a city. That's a really tricky one, but I think one of the areas where we are seeing progress in the UK is obviously farming is getting bigger and bigger. So where we had small farms that were operated by perhaps one family, we now have one family operating, 6 times the size with machinery and modern technology. And what it means is that farmsteads in the countryside are being abandoned and are being left for no use anymore. And there's a movement now to try and revitalize those farmsteads, A, for residential when there's always a demand, but B, this is a fantastic idea, as respite homes for people who are caring for sick family members or who have family members with special needs. There are charities out there who will support them and who will give them a holiday. And so they can go somewhere where their loved one is also looked after and they have a fantastic time together, and the family member who's been spending their time caring for their loved one, they also get a break because there are specialists there who can contribute to the care and who can, help them enjoy themselves. And I think that's a fantastic example of a way to revitalize buildings that are not in an urban area, that don't have a dramatic impact on the landscape, but bring use back to rural areas.
Hvala lepa. Še en kratek skok na Japonsko.
Yeah, a very big, short jump. I studied the case of Japan 10 years before, and when I saw best practices like here, it was obvious what is often said about Japan. In relation to other industrial developed countries, Japan is always 7 years before the other Western industrial developed countries. And yeah, what I am seeing here today, I saw 10 years before in Japan. It's really true. And the most interesting element I have seen was the importance of the neighbors, the locals. They had these little urban gardens at forgotten places, in front of their houses. There's only stone and everything is not nice. But they create their own places, and they care about their cultural heritage and their buildings by their own. And it's also quite the opposite of the normal point of view about Japan. Everyone thinks community, and the community is the most important thing, but my impression was the opposite. The importance of the locals, the neighbors who are surrounded around cultural heritage are the point of success.
Hvala lepa, s tem bi zaključila današnjo okroglo mizo. Lepo se zahvaljujem vsem gostjam in gostu, ki je žal moral odleteti nazaj domov, in bi predala besedo Tamari, da formalno zaključi današnjo konferenco in vam da še nadaljne tehnične napotke. Hvala.